G'day, legends. All right, following yet another massive victory this weekend from Chad Topuria, it looks like the MMA fan base has done its classic thing where the fans of Ilia Topuria are talking about how he can beat anybody, even a prime Islam Makhachev. That is what we are going to be talking about in today's video. I love this part of the MMA community. I love it. Every single time a champion gets a win, their fan base gets loud and starts yelling from the rooftops. The Alex Pereira fans have been the worst at this. The John Jones fans talking about how he's going to beat up Tom Aspinall, jump on this as well. And now the Ilia Topuria fans have pushed the Max Holloway fans off the edge of a cliff, and they've jumped in, started talking about how he can beat up Islam Makhachev because little Chad Topuria has started yapping up at Islam Makhachev. But I don't know why you guys make me do this every week. The amount of abuse that I have to cop from all the different fan bases, it gets exhausting. I feel like bloody Batman out here, just watching over the MMA world, trying to get everyone to use facts and logic and reason and just calm down. Tom Aspinall sleeps John Jones in one round, okay? Alex Pereira is not the second best pound-for-pound fighter in the UFC. He literally is incapable of throwing a takedown. It's MMA. And Ilia Topuria gets murdered by Islam Makhachev. Slow down, Chad Topuria fans. Let's get into their reasons why. Let's look at some counter-arguments. Let's have a good time. Okay, so some of the Ilia fans, they want to point out just how clean Ilia Topuria's boxing is. And it is. It really is. I believe that Ilia Topuria is the second best boxer in the UFC behind JDM. Am I being biased? Yes. I don't care. The way that Ilia Topuria dances around the outside, picks his body shot, and then once he has his opponent up against the cage and he stands his base and starts landing that vicious combination with the head selection and the movement, it's beautiful. He has got absolutely beautiful boxing. And if he was to be fighting Islam Makhachev, he'd be moving up from the lower weight class, which means he'd be carrying all the skill there. We've seen him do it before against Jai Herbert, and we've seen countless times before about how people moving up from featherweight to lightweight tend to continue to carry not only their power, but their skill and their speed when they go to lightweight. Obviously, Dustin Poirier has done amazing at lightweight. So has Charles Oliveira, clearly better than Poirier, right? Conor McGregor did amazing at lightweight. The former featherweight fighters tend to do very, very well. However, other featherweight fighters have moved up and lost before, right? Max Holloway moved up to fight Dustin Poirier. Yeah, it was on short notice, but still it was someone who usually cuts all the way down to 145, only having to cut down to 155. And he still lost to Dustin Poirier. Alexander Volkanovski moved up and he did lose to Islam Makhachev twice. And that is while Alexander Volkanovski was the best fighter in the world. And look, even with the Holloway one, you can be like, yeah, but Max just moved up. He just beat the hell out of Justin Gaethje. And he did. He did. He was lucky. he was lucky that he landed that spinning wheel kick right on the nose. And he did get in 2 phenomenal eye pokes in the second round. But yes, Max Holloway did beat the piss out of Justin Gaethje. But Ilia Topuria, for a featherweight, he's a small featherweight, yeah? What I mean by that is he's got the muscle, but he's short, right? I don't even think he's as tall as Volkanovski. And right there, you've got the opening for that Islam Makhachev head kick to land that he trained so much to use on Volkanovski. But even that, Islam Makhachev, he's just massive for lightweight. He has to cut a ton of weight and use every single minute on not only the weight cutting window, but then the 48 hours that the commissions give him to rehydrate. In Australia, they're following him around with a bloody IV drip just to try and save his life. He needs to cut so much weight. They're ready to shove that into his veins the second he gets off stage and jumps into a changing room. Islam Makhachev, he's bloody huge for lightweight. He could easily compete at welterweight and look like a Colby Covington. So for Ilia Topuria to move up to lightweight, it would be a massive step up in size to fight someone like Islam Makhachev, who has no chance of fighting at featherweight, which means Islam Makhachev's size alone would be able to counteract this jiu-jitsu attack that Ilia Topuria and the Chad Puria fans are talking about. Then there's the classic styles make fights. People want to talk about Ilia Topuria's beautiful boxing that we touched on early in this video. However, Islam Makhachev has got that insane breaking the guard Muay Thai style. Muay Thai always opens up more strikes. It's got way more savage leg kicks than the ones Ilia Topuria would use, uses a lot more elbows. And as good as Ilia did look against Max Holloway, he did look great against Max Holloway. Max did have success landing shots in that first round. Max's leg kicks were landing pretty nicely on him. Max had success early in the second round. I'm saying, like, I went back, I watched it. Ilia won both rounds, but Max had success and Max landed. Josh Emmett was able to land on Ilia Topuria. Imagine someone as big as Islam Makhachev landing those same shots on him with that heavy Muay Thai style that is all about throwing big power. We just saw what happened with Khalil Roundtree throwing big power using a Muay Thai style against Alex Pereira. Muay Thai is better than boxing when it comes to an MMA fight. But that's okay. That's okay. Because what we're talking about here and what Ilia Topuria has talked about here is he believes that he can be the one to submit Islam Makhachev. How many times do we have to watch Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu go in there against a Sambo wrestler? How many Apex cards? How many Abu Dhabi cards do we have to watch where a Brazilian guy comes in and tries to use Jiu-Jitsu against a Russian Sambo wrestler? Has the Jiu-Jitsu guy ever won? I'm serious. Ever. Can someone run the numbers for me? The matchup does not work. This is not the rock, paper, scissors way that this works out. Jiu-Jitsu guys end up on bottom and get fucking smashed by the Sambo guys every single time. It's not competitive. Jiu-Jitsu versus wrestling is simply not competitive. Wrestling is about mounting heavy top pressure and then dominating with the ground and pound. A jiu-jitsu is about scrambling around and trying to avoid damage, and maybe I'll find one limb and seeing what I can do with that one limb. It's not the same. Like, they're not the same thing at all. Ilia Topuria is not going to find a stray arm or a stray ankle on Islam Makhachev and be able to wrap it up, while Islam Makhachev is raining down heavy ground and pound shots. Islam's going to look like he's in there playing with bloody Hezbollah, mate, all right? Islam is going to be able to survive on the feet and then drag Ilia Topuria down into heavy, heavy waters, drown him in deep waters. The other thing that the Ilia Topuria fans want to talk about is that Volkanovski had success. Yeah, Volk had success. Volk visually had a lot of success. I personally believe Volk won the first fight against Islam Makhachev on damage. But when you look at the scorecards, Volk lost 4 of the rounds, 3 to 4 of the rounds across the board. In the second fight, Volk got his head kicked in. You know, Dustin Poirier, right? He took Islam Makhachev to war. Surely Ilia Topuria is a better fighter than Dustin Poirier. Dustin had been preparing to fight someone like Khabib, someone from Khabib's team, either Khabib or Islam, for essentially 3 years straight. He was working very closely with Gamrot. Essentially, Dustin Poirier had done everything he'd ever wanted to do in his career and had one final boss locked in, laser focused for about 3 years. And it was going to be someone from Dagestan. That's what Dustin knew. That's what Dustin was training for. And he put up the absolute fight of his life after being solidified at lightweight for years and focused on one guy for years. Ilia Topuria, moving up for about 8 months to use jiu-jitsu over a Sambo guy, is quite frankly fucking retarded. And in the words of the great Chael Sonnen, Ilia Topuria fans, you have to stop. You have to stop, all right? Right now, he's 28 years old, and he is the UFC featherweight champion and just gotten his first defense. The potential here for him to dominate his division, he's going to get through Volk again. Then he's going to get through Lopez. If he can get through Movza, which is, again, using the wrestling style against his jiu-jitsu style, I think Ilia would be better on. This is a much better matchup. If he can get through Movza, we are looking at a dominant dynasty here with Ilia Topuria that we have not seen since the days of Jose Aldo. We have not seen since the days of Dominic Cruz. We haven't seen since the days of bloody Anderson Silva. We do not get opportunities and runs like this anymore. The UFC and MMA in general has gotten so bloody competitive. Everybody is so goddamn good. We do not get old school championship runs like we used to. And you have got Ilia Topuria, who right now, with how well he knows his jiu-jitsu, how good his takedown defense is, how fast he is with the hands, how much he stands his base, how old he is, 28 years old. What you've got right now is maybe the perfect featherweight that isn't even in their prime at the moment. And you want to send them up to lightweight to get the shit kicked out of them. Why on earth would we do that? We could create one of the top 5 fighters on the GOAT list ever right now if we just let him percolate for a little bit. Leave him in there until he's 32 years old. Leave him in there until he gets a loss and then maybe move him up. Leave him in there until he's 32 and see how many defenses that he can get. And lightweight at the moment, it's percolating. It's bubbling. Islam Makhachev has maybe got 1 or 2 more defenses, and then he's either going to move on or move out, retire. He's either going to move up or he's going to retire. That's what everyone from that region does. They generally retire. They don't really move up. But Islam Makhachev might be the one to break the mold. So let him do that. Once he does that, what are we looking at? We're looking at an Arman Sarukian, which is a much more manageable fight for Ilia Topuria. We could be looking at somehow Paddy Pimblett fluking his way up to a title shot. Who knows? We could be looking at a vacated title. We could be talking about Ilia Topuria moving up versus Paddy Pimblett to fight for the vacant lightweight title. There is a super fight around the start of 2026 after Ilia Topuria gets in a couple more defenses. What is wrong with that picture? That is way more fun than imagining a short guy that is going to move up to fight Islam Makhachev and try out some jiu-jitsu. That's it. Let me know what you think about that down there in the comments. What chance do you think Ilia Topuria has at Islam Makhachev? Am I reading this thing completely wrong, or do I once again have to be the voice of reason in the room of all the fandom? Someone out there in the comments section, one of the great subscribers of the channel, Two Smelly Fingers, left a great meme in our channel's Discord. This is it. Bloody hilarious. If you want to get involved with the channel, you can always hit that subscribe button. I try and make an MMA video every single day. I try and go live about 3 times a week. If you want to know when that happens, hit the notification bell. If you're already on board with the channel, like Two Smelly Fingers, hit that like button down there. And until then, you guys have yourselves a great day. I'll see you all in the next video.